And I think if I live north of there and I would want to go outside and sit on my back porch or whatever, there you are. But
Like I say, it's council's decision. I just, just surveyed the area and, to talk to you.
I think Leonard's right. I think we ought to look the situation over a little more before we make a really nice announcement.
You're bringing it to us now because you're not sure if it was a violation or not.
No, the letter was addressed to the city. And so it was to the city itself as council people. The zoning itself, I myself, yeah, you might be able to read some of this into it, would it work, but I'm gonna let you guys make the call on it, because I think it's questionable.
So I want to treat it, where I'm getting at, I want to treat it just as fair as anybody else. Whenever we get a complaint from someone else, you always go out and say, well, is it a violation or is it not a violation?
Right. Well, we've had quite a bit of discussion here, and nobody's been able to tell me one way or the other yet, so.
It looks to me like it would qualify under number 9, but I mean, it would qualify to store stuff there under number 9, but under number 15, you're not supposed to have any smell or dust or fumes or gas, or what have you.
And if we give it a little time, we can go down there. I didn't pull my windows down today, but I can go down there and see what's up.
So see right here, we're having, some people, we have a letter stating it's very offensive to someone, allergic, and other people can drive down there and it's not so bad.
What do we do when we have a dog smell or something that a neighbor complains about?
Or you're
I've never walked in on a dog smell.
But horses, we have had.
It has more horses and cattle, and I've talked to the people about that, and they agreed.
Well, I say, drive up to Brown Park.
So,
Number 15 looks like it's manufacturing that causes food and stuff.
well, and, I mean,
The list of uses.
Yeah.
it's just getting more and more and more. He's getting more and more and more in town. So how much more are we going to let him bring to town?
Well, it looks to me like it could qualify under number 9 or number 22. But you've also got to follow the other rules.
Right. And Leonard's fire chief, if he wants to make a recommendation, say, well, we're getting close to our limits of being able to contain it, we make a recommendation.
But that doesn't address the odor and.
Well, that's because it fits to the listed 1984 Article 11 zoning laws.
But if you read 15, it says which are not offensive.
It's
Or reasons.
manufacturing.
No, it doesn't say that.
So it seems to me.
It requires similar to the list of uses, anything above it,
Yeah, the list of
and
uses
any manufacturing.
yeah.
But how does cans of cola qualify on that? You don't have all that wet grain down there.
Yeah. They're in violation, it looks to me like.
I never read all of it.
Does hay put off toxic smoke?
I'm not sure, that's what I was trying to do, if it was
It's
on
natural.
fire, because yeah, I mean, why, it just, I mean, you couldn't stand it, I mean, it'd choke you down in a hurry. But any other smoke, but I just had heard that one time, so I just was wondering, I want to check on it to see.
What do we wanna do? We wanna run all the businesses out of town?
Yeah.
You know, I'm about 2 shakes from leaving the way it is. You know? Do we wanna penalize somebody that's trying to do something? Or do we wanna comply with the rules and regulations?
We're not trying to penalize him from doing anything, Bobby, but are we gonna continue to keep letting him pile hay wherever he wants to in town? When he's got other places out in the country he can pile the hay? That's my point. He's got lots of places he can pile that hay, but why does he have to bring it to the city limits of St. John and put it in our town? That's my gripe.
Well, I guess the same thing could apply. Why would them tank trucks be in St. John? They smell. They get crude oil.
Your business is in town, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, is his business in town? Are them fields in town?
Well, I assume part of it is down here south of, back over here, you just got to build a great big building. There's all kinds of hay balers and stuff sitting around there all the time.
That's his shed where he keeps his
I assume
equipment.
that's where his business is.
But it would be different if his hay was close to town, in town, close to the city limits.
I'm not against it, and I'm not for it. But I just feel like that if you're, you know, it seems to me like we're doing everything we can do to chase business out of this town.
No, I don't think it's chasing business out of town.
Well, we may chase a lot of residential customers out of town too, if we're not careful.
It's a catch-22, it's a bad deal.
It is.
Could there be kind of a compromise where there could be a limit to how much you could put there and maybe control the odor and stuff a little bit? Is that even a possibility? Is it just black and white?
It would be easier if the fire chief or somebody could work out an arrangement where the effects of odors are minimized without having to have another law or ordinance.
Well, that's the point I was getting at earlier. We didn't have a problem until there was an excessive amount.
And I hate to see us keep passing ordinances about what we can do. But at the same time, I don't know why people can't be reasonable and be good neighbors with each other. And so, maybe Leonard could talk to him and figure out a way to minimize whatever's going on there so that it would be like it was before and the person doesn't complain.
If you could limit it to if you had a fire, you can limit it to a certain amount of hay that would be within the ability of a fire department to extinguish within a given amount of time. And that way you would limit the size of it, but it would also be a safety hazard too, because if you had a pile in there continuing to burn for 3 days, it's more dangerous. So, I mean, if you could approach it from the safety standpoint and limit the size of the stacking and the movement of the hay in and out to a certain number of bales or a certain volume or whatever that would be able to be put out within, say, 30 minutes of a fire being called in, then, that would probably be something reasonable. But if you got something that's going to sit there and burn for 4 days, then that's probably unreasonable.
Well, what kind of scenario if you had this pile just on the south side of the railroad track on the east side out of the city limits? And a catch pile?
It would make a bit of a move. And that's what I'm waiting.
How much is a load, how many bales is it a load that somebody would deliver somewhere?
26 of those big squares on
26? Does he have that many?
Yeah, several semi-loads.
Yes, like 100 or 75.
He's got several semi-loads there, but they get several semi-loads off of one field.
Yeah, would they do that in a, I mean, how long would it be before that was gone if they didn't put any more there?
Well, see, he'll truck that out, and then they're cutting right now and baling. You know, he's got 20, he did have 26 circles he was doing. So, I mean, you don't have all 26. He's got to be putting hay somewhere else. But I talked to him, and I need to talk to him again and see what, he wants to put up a building. And then we'll find out what kind of building he wants to put up, because then it'll be up, you know, for the ordinance, I don't know, maybe Mel knows more about buildings, you know, what type of building you put up here in town, or, but it'll be more tax money for the town too. I mean, you know.
Well, I think the mayor has a point that, you know, why bring it in town until he needs to delay it or whatever.
There's pros and cons any way you go look at this.
There is pros and cons.
But we need to find a happy medium.
And like
you know.
Tom said, you know, it was fine, he just had a few stacks down there, but now it's just getting stack after stack. I mean, I literally about croaked when I looked over there at your wall back, and I'm thinking, why is he piling that on Bobby? I mean, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm thinking, why is he doing that? And then, of course, I jumped in, I go, what do you think you're doing? Let me bring more hay into town. It's just a fire hazard. And also, too, if little kids get curiosity, like we always did on the farm.
Well, we sure don't need to be advertising that.
Yeah,
No.
that's the one thing. I'm really all worried about that on the 4th and stuff, but that's why I just soon maybe not have this brought out, you know, in public. We probably should have executive session.
Yeah, I'm seeing a big old picture of a hay pile.
No, I don't think we need that.
It says whenever a building or structure is residential cell, heights of a building or structure shall not exceed 45 feet. So we couldn't put up a building more than 45 feet high, but we can stack hay.
I don't know how high it is. I don't know how high it is.
They can only stack as high as that low ring steel, and that's it. About 4 high, I think. 4 or 5.
Just looks like,
It does look like.
it's not over 20 feet.
So do you guys want to table this? Talk about it next time?
Well, then,
What's going to happen in between?
and perhaps Leonard can,
Maybe just by visiting or research.
maybe they want to
Come to
discuss
some
it, maybe they can come out with a better kind of thing, than having us have to figure out some kind of
Figuring out a hay tax.
a hay tax or
There
something.
you go.
You do that, Mr. Davis, and bring it to council.
We're already in.
There you go. A little thing.
I did talk to Reggie for probably over an hour today, you know, just, you know, discussing it, you know, and just trying to, you know, see what we can work out. And I'm gonna get back with him, you know.
And if you cut down all the weeds, that's part of it, is if you keep it clean like that.
But with all the rain, it's been, you know, it's been hefty doing that. It's all of you, look at the wheat fields around the country. The wheat fields are about as sorry looking as they've ever been, you know,
But
this
that's
time
out in
of
the country.
I got it.
Well, we make our residents keep their weeds down, and we do have to send out letters and stuff for that, so, I mean, which it sounds like he's done anyway, so.
Yeah.
it's kind of-
Everybody think about it. We'll all have a chance to go look.
Okay. Well, then,
Next
we're
time.
gonna-
Just stay there for a few days while you
I already got allergy where I am.
Okay, now.
That's all I can see.
Is there any questions from Mel this evening? No questions from Mel. Thank you, Mel. Administration, John?
Yes, I'd like to ask for an executive session with the mayor, private executive session, mayor, council, attorney, and facility. For
Non-elected official.
attorney client, I think. So,
Attorney.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Those opposed say no. Donna, do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Is there any questions for Donna this evening? Thank you, Donna. Fire Department, Leonard?
I pretty well discussed everything earlier, so.
Okay, I do have a question. Did TJ Rockenbach step down from his office?
They haven't really put him in a position out there as a positive deal yet. So I'm still, the newspaper stated one deal, but I talked to Harold Fisher and he was supposed to be in charge. And then I was told that TJ was in charge, and I talked to both of them, and neither one of them knows where their standing is right now because they're till.
So you don't know if he's an officer out there or not for the county?
He's just a temporary station chief right now.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can't,
He's a temporary chief,
station chief.
station chief.
So, and he doesn't know whether, it's either got applications for that job. So it's up to county commissioners whether Harold or TJ, you know, gets to stay out there, you know. So that's what we're just sitting here right now up in, because I
Okay, the way I took it, I thought he was assistant chief for the county.
don't, he's not assistant chief of, as far as this whole deal is, it's an uproar right now. I mean, it's, I can't find out anything. I talked to one guy, and they say, they said, no, we don't have a position right now. And they talked to another one, well, I thought I was, you talked to commissioners, they thought they had a position.
Okay, we'll find
Should be
it.
a
So-
county commissioner.
Yeah, we'll
So-
find out. Okay, we'll find out then. Is there any questions for Leonard tonight? Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you.
And Sunny is not here this evening. We've been pulling some shifts for some guys that are busy.
Is anybody, please here?
Yes, Leonard?
Is there any more houses to burn in this town before we get really busy? Or, I mean, does anybody mention any more, at one time?
Yeah, I got a lot of houses.
Well, they said
Where do you
the
want me to get started?
one, they said the one by Overbloat down there, or, that bloat house down there.
Right
But
across the street from
but I've never
You
heard
said
any more.
Who?
Leonard, no.
The house down there by we're hiring, it's beside hiring Madison.
I don't think they want.
Behind the VFW.
Okay.
Did they change their mind on that?
Where's Chicago?
They were gonna take the siding, it's got transite siding on it, and they were gonna take that off themselves, and there was some interest at one time, but they haven't done anything with it. I did hear of a house today that they were gonna tear down. Gas company got me, wanted to know if I knew anything about it, and they said they were gonna tear it down, so I can check into that, but, I didn't really look at that close. So.
Okay, well, I just, before everybody got, the other day, we was gonna do a tree pile, so as it gets moved over there, so it's not quite so close to all of his machinery and stuff.
I think they moved it today.
Because we're just trying to, keep the guys, to just sitting around and, we can only check the truck so much, and I need a little training for them, so it works pretty good. We get, you need to keep those trucks pumping and working to keep, because stuff sets, then you have problems.
Better save it up until it's cold.
Well, I like it better, but, when it's cold, but if you get it cleaned up now, while everybody's not so busy, I just seen get it cleaned up now, so they got time to, because it's cool off where they can,
All right, back to Sunny. What was you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna ask because I heard this morning that there was an escaped prisoner from Florida. And they had me put something on the TV, and I couldn't find out from them where was the person from or anything about that. Because, does that mean
You're
it's...
sitting right next to me.
Oh, that's...
Would that come through dispatch? Did you call them in county?
When the sheriff called and asked if we put it on the TV. The dispatch told me
it was on the news tonight. They had a description and picture of it, extremely dangerous.
Yeah, this is, they thought it could be on the day.
I'm good day.
I just been elected.
Did you call our city police? They couldn't give you the information?
I didn't,
Well, you didn't try to get a hold of Sunny?
no.
Okay.
I had all I can do to
How did
Get all
I
the
know,
stuff.
I know I came across the scanner.
Yeah,
And he was from Larner. That's what it said across the
He's
scanner.
from there.
Yes.
he escaped.
He
from-
escaped from Larner.
Oh, but where was he from before?
Oh,
What difference does that make?
If he was in Nashville, then I was predator.
Okay, are we up, are we good to go? Any more questions, Jim? Okay, it's afraid.
I'm better off if I don't.
Okay, all right. So Sonny's not here, and Sonny didn't have anything for anybody, so, legal, Dawn.
I don't have anything. It looks like we are gonna have to amend our, just reading a little article in the Government Journal, we are gonna have to amend our micro truck, ordinance, so we'll have to work on that. And the only other thing, you do need to, in new business or old business, you do need to pass a motion to approve the budget.
to do what?
Approve the budget.
They did that last time.
I think, don't you do it after your hearing?
You have after it.
You have to do it twice.
I think you do it after your hearing.
And then, just a minute. Are you done, Dawn? Is there any questions for Dawn? So on the little vehicles, we have to do what on that, Dawn? Utility vehicles, what'd you say?
We gotta pass a new ordinance. Our old one is
Okay,
no longer good.
What are the
State
changes?
made
Well, they changed the definition of everything.
okay.
They're still legal to drive and
Well, under the old definition, no. Under the new definition, yes. It's in your June, in the Government Journal.
Okay,
That's why it gets the big bucks.
is there any new business this evening?
Yeah, but do we have to pass a budget?
So, are you going to do that?
Eventually,
And then
yeah,
bring it-
you might, yeah, maybe not next time, maybe the first second.
Bring it back to us.
Okay, yes, Jim, go ahead.
Or do I need to move that we adopt the budget? I so move.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. And the old business,
We haven't. It occurs to me that our county is one of the three in the state that doesn't have anybody doing economic development for the county. And I'm wondering if it's appropriate for us to request the county commissioners to consider doing that.
We've tried that, how many times?
Well, they haven't done it yet.
They have a budget now, don't they? I mean,
I thought they never go
they
there.
have, they finally at least got a mill levy to support
Yeah.
it, so.
But I don't know of anybody
I think
doing
you can
that.
just go to them and ask them to do it now.
And, well, what would be the appropriate thing for us to ask the clerk to write a note saying,
Or probably somebody representing the council ought to go and ask if they start looking for an economic development director.
would you be able to tell them, what
yes?
is up the city? Because we've got to do that. I mean, we keep losing people and we're doing well because we haven't lost as many people as we should have. According, I remember when I moved here, they had projected that we'd be down to around 800 or 900 people now. And we're not. Well, we haven't gained any people. We're down a few hundred. And somebody has to work on that. And we might think about it ourselves too, just for the city to think about something in terms of economic development. And we could help the person that's doing it for the county and have them help us if we wanted to do that. But if we don't do things like that, we are going to wind up with 700 or 800 people. And that concerns me.
If you run one more hay business out of town, or if you run one more Bobby Steinbeck out of town, and you don't, that budget you just passed, if you raise that budget, well, economic development, that, keep the taxes low. That's what you can do.
Well,
And my electric bill, keep it low.
Turn the air conditioner off.
and I'll keep paying it. No, I'm gonna run it at whatever temperature I want, and I'm gonna pay it.
That's right, and I agree with you.
Try harder that, everybody at this table, quit trying to bring somebody else in town that probably won't pay it. They'll say, well, that's too high. We're not gonna put a factory in there. The wind generator is the way to go. That's what we've gotta do.
But they're not free, they're gonna cost us. We'll probably have to raise taxes to do that, you know, I mean, it's
Don't
just,
raise taxes, you'll have to,
do a bond or,
you'll have to raise rates to pay for it.
yeah.
That-
So,
Or
I
you
mean, we
you don't have
can't,
to raise rates, you're probably gonna have to add, I mean, you're gonna have to restructure your debt. I mean, you've got that capacity, that you could put in a
Yeah.
couple small ones.
Yeah, especially if we can get 0% loans from the federal government.
Sure.
And then we can pay it by generating electricity with the wind farm instead of buying it. What do we do? We've got to get more people in here to do something.
and I know there's been a lot of groundwork done on the bioenergy, you know. I still think there's possibilities going on there, there's just, they've changed gears because of the economics of different things, so
Put in a
I still
question.
think we need to pay attention to what they're trying to do, or what their options might be, if they keep changing. So, that's the only group of people right now that I know of that's a group collectively trying to do something.
Is there any new business? Is there any old business? Do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved.